Theme park fans are absolutely obsessed with animatronics. The uncanny valley of living robots like John Progress or Abraham Lincoln mimicking human behaviors, it's so hard to take your eyes off them. They're so eerie yet mesmerizing, like looking into an alternate world where everything moves all janky. But when it comes to animatronics, Hatbox Ghost might be the weirdest of all. Dreamt up by Imagineering to defy the laws of reality all the way back in 1969, the Hatbox Ghost featured a clever magic trick. This transparent ghost's head would vanish from his shoulders and reappear inside a hat box that he held. His saran wrap poncho-looking body debuted in early previews of the Haunted Mansion, but was removed almost immediately. The illusion worked great in controlled test rooms, but in the actual ride, overspilling of lighting ruined the effect for most guests. The original Hatbox animatronic figure, once uninstalled from Disneyland's attraction, was never seen again. This is a perfect example of lost animatronic history. Little pieces of robotic history that to this day are still unavailable. Except for a few random photos and a blurry old video, there is barely any media evidence available of this animatronic existing. No trace of the original figure, just the reinvented modern Imagineering animatronic that now haunts the Haunted Mansion on both coasts. And when you start looking into the history of animatronics, you'll find that there are so many pieces of lost robotic media. Hey, did you find any footage of the Hatbox Ghost or any of the other robots we're going to talk about in this video, or any of the other lost media we've talked about on this channel? Well, head on over to thedisneydan.com and send in your lost media submissions of found things and help out me and Shishigumi of Lost Media Busters dig in deep into all of these lost media mysteries. Listen, Chuck E. Cheese wasn't the only beloved robotic monstrosity out there serving pizza to kids. Nope, we had a Little Caesars animatronic. This whole lost animatronic journey started with just like one photo. There's only like one photo of this robot out there in existence. Instagram users Prize Puppy and Jonathan Steen purchased an entire animatronic band with a promotional pamphlet that like showed other things that the animatronic company had worked on, and in that pamphlet was this giant, mysterious Little Caesar robot. Holding a harp, looking gorgeous, wearing a signature outfit, looking very tight, looking very taut, giant nose. You can see his eye there. He's got his sandals on, for crying out loud, and he's covered in a disturbingly large amount of flesh tone skin, robot skin, like flesh tone, wrinkle skin. I don't like that. He was in a band in this very fun little theme setting. So where was this animatronic? Well, it was possibly part of Caesarland, a Little Caesar business venture to compete with Chuck E. Cheese, essentially. It's exactly what you think it is. That land rush of like novelty pizza chains like Discovery Zone and Chuck E. Cheese. First, they had a starter, like little pop-up thing called the Little Caesars Family Fun Center, but eventually they switched over to the more well-themed Caesar Land. But they had tokens for both. Like when you look online, you're finding lots of Caesarland tokens, Little Caesar tokens. There are no video, there's no date, no like evidence that this was ever at a specific location that I'm aware of. So please, if you grew up in a Caesarland or Little Caesar location, please email us, please. thedisneydan.com. I need to see this thing rocking and rolling, please. Please, I need to see this giant Little Caesar live his best life. And let me know if you like Little Caesar. I can do some more Little C's content. Give you guys old Big Dan covering the Little C's, you know? M&M World animatronics. All right, now not all lost animatronics are gonna be from theme parks. There are animatronics everywhere out there in the world, obscure gems hidden off the beaten path inside corporate marketing events and conventions.
So what is the $64,000 question? Holy cow, I'm gonna have to tough it up now.
I love M&Ms, especially red and yellow. They're icons. They're icons. And can you believe it that J.K. Simmons voices the yellow peanut? J. Jonah Jameson is that dopey idiot.
You serious?
So it's on a website for a company called Advanced Animations under their retail projects. So the website is packed with cool robots they've made. So based off of that evidence and like where those things got placed, this was likely a corporate installation at like, you know, like some kind of like Hershey factory tour sort of thing that, you know, you've seen me visit before, you know, limited giant animations of characters that are like otherwise pretty static, you know, with like some kind of audio overlay. I'm sure like the arms wiggled and maybe the mouth. These M&M animatronics look incredible. There's no confirmed video. I don't know where they're from. You know, this is just another one of those ones that are just floating out there, but I feel like I've seen them in a dream.
Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Perhaps I feel like I've seen these guys because of all those novelty M&M dispensers, you know, like back in the day. You just go to eBay and search like, you know, M&M candy dispensers are all over the place. So maybe that's why I think I know them. I'm gonna guess that maybe it was like an M&M World location or maybe M&M Corporate or M&M Hall of Perpetuity, Praise Gear. I'm not exactly sure where these M&Ms were, but I'm sure that my Annie loved it. I love Crusty the Cat, one of Chuck E. Cheese's original animatronic bandmates all the way back in 1977, aka pre-Mr. Munch territory. You know Mr. Munch, that Grimace looking dude? Pick a lane, Grimace, you have to choose which side you're on. Either you're Chuck E. Cheese's friend or you're Ronald McDonald's friend. I don't like this brand confusion with these giant purple monsters in my fast food. Now this was back in the day when all the Chuck E. Cheese characters were wall mounted in frames, Harry Potter style, you know, like living pictures on the walls, you know, like, oh, we're pictures that can come to life. And Crusty the Cat, he was the straight man to Chuck E. Cheese, you know, setting up the jokes at his own expense. He's a cat on a mouse's payroll. How humiliating is that, you know? He even had a vegetarian pizza named after him. So, I mean, if you want to be that guy, a vegetarian pizza on the menu in the 70s, that's brutal. And to make things worse, his whole character bit was that he was like the world's unluckiest cat. He was on a baseball team called the Swingers, and he had, his jersey was unlucky number 13. I don't know. Poor guy. R.I.P. Crusty the Cat, because like once they like franchised the show and they like redid it and made like full body animation, started to like, you know, go hard on this, Krusty was cut. He was immediately cut. So we have like 8 seconds of video and like some audio.
Well, it's a surprise to me. I didn't even get a present.
Me neither, Big C.
That's because it's not your birthday, nitwit.
Oh, yeah.
Like the full show, like all Krusty in all his glory back in 1977, rocking and rolling. It's nowhere to be found. You know, like there are people who've collected animatronics from, you know, all of these old shows, and there are lots of great YouTube out there living on in personal collections, you know, and it's great. It's great. I love it. That's good. But like, I want to see this thing. I want to see this thing rock and roll back in the day. Back, you know, when Chuck E. Cheese had a cigar. Back when Chuck E. Cheese had a smoking problem. That's when we had Crusty the Cat. But now gone. The Innovation Robot. I'm gonna call this guy the Innovacation Robot because it's one of these like weird things I found on lostepcot.com. This thing looks like Epcot Party Bot, all right? Epcot has lots of robots, like lawn cutting robots, robots that hang out with Drew Barrymore, you know, robots that'll like, you know, answer your questions, robots that like you can do meet and greets with. Epcot's just a robot. It's robot crazy. We're robot crazy. And not like robots that like look like things like people, places, and things. I'm talking like robot, you know, God's robot, you know? This feels like a robot version of Genie after he gets released from his service and he puts on a Hawaiian shirt and he's like, and a goofy hat, and he's like, I'm out of here. So it's a robot on vacation, I guess, likely misbehaving. I don't know if it's actually called Innovacation Robot. This is from lostepcot.com, and I have another one at the end of the list from Lost Epcot, but this is one of them that's just like, I don't remember seeing this at all. I remember seeing a lot of robots in Epcot back in the day, but not this one. So if you know what this is, let me know. Whoa, stop the presses. It's some found media alert. I was talking to Kevin over at Defunctland about all these wacky lost robots because, as you know, he's working on a fun 2-part documentary about Disney animatronic history. And turns out his editor, John, who does some great work, John, killing it over there. He immediately recognized this guy and sent me a YouTube link. It was like, here he is. Here's the guy. Just as Kenny and I were putting the finishing touches on this video. So it turns out that the Innovacation bot is actually named Francis the Talking Robot, an early prototype and poster child for the thing that Tom Cruise hates the most, AI.
AI. Oh.
What?
Oh, McDonald had a fun.
E-I-E-I-O.
Help me. Help me complete the key, and I will kill this thing.
It's not actually AI. It's more like a remote-controlled robot, like Push the talking trash can. It is wild to see in action. You know, it's got like a performer nearby controlling it with a remote control and like a microphone, and then it has a cast member host who's a doctor. A doctor of what? Robots? A robot doctor?
I talk primarily to Dr. Annie here because she's very lonely.
Francis!
She hasn't had a date in 7 years.
Francis, I like being single, thank you.
Your mother doesn't like it.
Francis!
I love this guy. His little robot body is filled with all kinds of like sass and attitude. Beep bop beep. I'm totally here for that. Especially when he's like being rolled out via dolly out of the old Communicore building. Look at this.
Excuse us.
Very nice, Francis. That's what you say when you ask the... That's called manners.
That's not what I say. I say, hey, get out of the way. You're blocking the road.
I feel like Francis and I would have been close friends because I also want to scream at people like this at Disney parks who are like blocking walkways. Francis, I see you. I see you. Francis might be my Patronus, guys. Oh man, I love this PG-13, like, you know, edgy Robin Williams humor in theme parks. It's so great, you know, nothing too crazy or adult, but at the same time, a little bit extra, you know, a little bit extra snark, a little cheeky robot. Either way, I think Lost Epcot, it's time to update the website. We found it. Found media. I love it. Actually, I love like when researching these things get dug up. Someone's got to call lostepcot.com. I don't think the website's been updated. It says like 2016. So I don't know if they're that concerned. Now back to your regularly scheduled Lost Media video. Captain Andy's Rivertown Band Fun Time Supreme Awesome Cool Animatronic Show. Man, I wish I could have seen it. That's a long intro, but that's how I feel. Captain Andy's, man, this custom designed animatronic band for a pizza shop in Baltimore, Maryland, close to home for me. Andy's Rivertown restaurant featured a bunch of clever characters that are like super high quality. I'm talking like Country Bear Jamboree. There's a big rush like when we got into like the Country Bear of it all. Everyone needed an animatronic band, you know, the Chuck E. Cheese band, Country Bear band. But chasing that wave in the 1980s, a group of like ex-Imagineers formed a company located in Baltimore that designed a custom show for this restaurant entrepreneur called Captain Andy's. And it had Imagineers like Bob Gurr, you know, legendary queer icon Bob Gurr. You know, he made a special appearance in this 1980s animatronic Lost Media bit. But God bless him, because this show has like a very specific kind of polish that you don't see in other janky animatronic shows. It's a beautiful. So much like OG Chuck E. Cheese kind of experiences, no one was taking Dad's 45-pound VHS camcorder to like pizza zones for like, it wasn't happening. No one was videotaping these things. So the original show in Baltimore, Maryland, like in its installation, lost. It's lost. It's gone. It's gone. We would love to see it. It's had some original gags, had some little nifty bits, but that specific location, lost. But luckily, because this was a group of entrepreneuring Imagineers, ex-Imagineers in the 80s, they're like, well, we built one of these in true Disney spirit. Let's build like 7 and see if anyone else wants them. And lots of people did. So Captain Andy's Rivertown review ended up in places like Japan, Europe, other various theme park installations. Basically anyone who wanted to like, you know, saddle up the dough, they were like, sure, take it, baby. We can make you one. So this entire show isn't necessarily lost in that like we have a beautiful archival recording of the Japanese production, and it's, I mean, just look at this larger than life fire truck, these beautiful animatronics. It's stunning. It's wild that like we haven't like let's bring this back and put it on tour, baby. I would come see it. There's a really great deep dive. See her video right here. She goes deep into this into this Rivertown band lore. It's great. It's a really good video. You got to watch it. I had a really good time. And somewhere in a Maryland basement, likely in Kenny's basement, down there in Maryland, there is a home video recording of Captain Andy's Rivertown restaurant waiting to be unearthed. They just didn't know anyone was looking. Well, we're looking. We need to see it. We need to see it. We need to see it. Now, while hunting for lost animatronics, Shishigumi, he helped me make all of these lost media videos, and check out podcasts that I do with him over at Fun, where we have more in-depth conversations about some of this lost media. And when he was digging around, he found something really interesting on lostepcot.com. Over in like the Japan Pavilion page, there is this randomly marked like robot that's like Japan Pavilion robot from the 1980s, unknown. And I was like, what is this? Is amazing. My mind was blown.
Holy cow, I'm gonna have to tough it up now. Here we go.
Now, I did some digging. I looked around a little bit, and what should I stumble upon but this woman's Flickr page from her visit to the Robot Dream Exhibition Hong Kong, where this exact animatronic was featured. So now I can only guess that this animatronic was some part of some kind of like corporate installation, or the Chinese government showing off, you know, like, oh, look at something cool we can do with robots, Disney. By the time Epcot rolled around, lots of companies were making private animatronics. Like you just saw with Captain Andy's Rivertown. Bam, that was in the 80s, this was the 80s. So privatized animatronics were cool. Now here's where things get crazy, because the front of it opens up and out ducks a female animatronic figure. So you have an animatronic in there doing the movements to dance around. She opens it up. She's likely says something like, oh, you know, this is an ancient history. It's much beloved. I work very hard at this. It's been going on since whatever year. You know, it's an educational thing, I would have to guess. And then she like ducks back in it and it's like, okay, I got to get ready for the next show. And then she like, you know, does it a bit. That's cool. That's cool. Someone else has had to have seen this in Epcot back in the day. It was there. It was there, and like the animatronics identical from the photo from Epcot and this woman's Flickr page. So some really good stuff there, guys. Hopefully we can dig it out. Hopefully we can find it, because I'm hyped on this. So there you go, Lost Media fans. That's another deep dive into some of the incredible animatronic Lost Media out there. And it's interesting because some of these we know where the animatronics are, some of these the animatronics are lost, but what's more fascinating about it all is the documentation of these things. Seeing these animatronics in action, seeing them work to their full capacity. There's lots of missing things out there, and there are likely more lost animatronics. Do you guys know of any? Please leave a comment below and let me know of other lost animatronics or other Disney or theme park or whatever kind of lost media that you want me to dig into with my buddy Shishigumi over at Lost Media Busters. Make sure you follow Shishigumi's YouTube channel. It's great. He's working on a really cool Muppet Vision project that I'm really excited for you guys to see. And head on over to Fun Podcast, my podcast companion to this incredible wacky channel with all of my theme park friends, where we talk about lots of different stuff, including lost media like this. So come on down. We got a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about. So come on down. Thanks again to all my Patreons. Thanks, patrons, for helping me keep this channel rocking and rolling and helping me do fun little things, little projects to, share with you guys. You're amazing. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, you rock.